Hello and welcome back to a new video on the abandoned 110. As you can see, we've got rid of a lot of the rust and replaced it with actual metal, including a new bulkhead outrigger and new footwells both sides, so she's solid again. Today we're going to concentrate on sorting out the back end of the car, so new dampers and new wheel cylinders, and we're also going to rebuild the heater box because the fan's locked solid and it's a bit of a mess. So stick with us, we'll get the spanners out, let's get cracking. If you watched the last video, you'll have seen us replace the front shock absorbers. Luckily on the back, it's quite a lot simpler. There's no turret to mess around with or anything like that. Just bolts to a bracket at the top on the chassis and then the axle at the bottom. Same with the front, we've gone for Girling's classic dampers to suit the age of the vehicle and because I just want an OEM damper that's going to do the job. And then once that's on, we're onto wheel cylinders. So sometimes wheel cylinders are okay if they're left. Not in this case. This is the one from the other side and one piston moves, but the other one is absolutely locked solid. So it's got corrosion in it. So I went to all makes and I bought a pair of new ones. I've stripped them down. I've put some red grease in there to help extend their life. We'll get them on and this corner is complete. There we go then, new Girling damper in place. Next, we need to take the drums off and get to that wheel cylinder inside to replace it. So we'll start by backing off the adjusters, then it's just one keeper screw and the drum should slide off. That should actually stop. There we go, stop now. Come on now. There we go. She ain't bad. I don't think the shoes are that old. It's just a bit grimy where it's been sat. So it's actually a similar story on this side to what it was on the other side. The shoes look like they've been replaced fairly recently before it got taken off the road. The material's in really nice condition. It's not lifting or anything like that. So we don't need to replace them. But the wheel cylinder is completely locked solid on one side. This piston moves, this one doesn't. And if we lift the little boot up, it's absolutely full of powdery corrosion. So yeah, we definitely need to replace this wheel cylinder. Luckily, one brake pipe and two nuts and it comes off. So as you can see, the old wheel cylinder was well past its sell-by date. Luckily, new ones are fairly cheap, and if you treat them with a bit of rubber grease, they last a long time. So now, we just need to spread these shoes apart, slip this into the back plate, tighten up the nuts, put the brake pipe back on, and bleed it up. Let's talk about Defender heaters. They've got a terrible reputation, but actually, when they're working properly, they're not that bad. So imagine for one moment the wing is still here. This is your heater intake, which screws to the underside of the wing and fits like that. Air goes in there, where it meets this fan. The fan spins and pushes air into the cabin. The difficulty is, there's a lot of different areas and lots of joins on this heater box that air can escape from, including the join between the heater box and the bulkhead. If that is the case, then all that nice warm air that you're generating is just going to escape before it can get into the cab. So we're going to rectify that today, and we're also going to upgrade the heater fan so it, in theory, delivers more hot air when you need it. So inside the cab, you've got three controls for your heaters. Fan speeds on the left, up the top is off, down the bottom is on. When you pull this down, not only does it fire the motor up, but it also opens a flap between the heater box and the bulkhead. So it basically allows air through. On the right hand side, you've got hot and cold mixture here. As you can see, the cable is disconnected, so we'll need to sort that out. And then we've got the sort of blend, if you like, which either shoots air at the windscreen or down at your feet. So basically, everything's there, but if it's not all connected properly, like that isn't, it's never going to do its job properly. And that is what a lot of people don't realise about these heaters. So we're going to whip the box off the bulkhead now and see if we can make it better. Here is the heater box, and here is one of the control cables. There's two of these to disconnect. There's also two coolant pipes which feed the heater matrix, and already we can see a problem. The heater matrix should not be able to rattle around like that, because if it can, all the air is going to just go around the edge of it and it won't actually become heated up. So you've also got this electrical connector here for your fan. Disconnect that. 2 bolts at the top, 3 bolts along the bottom, and you can lift the heater box off. So let's take this inside and see what we can do with it. You join us in the workshop and the heater box is on the bench. We've got a bit of stripping down to do, but first of all, let's talk a little bit about how it works. So, when this flap here is shut, your heater would be turned off on the dashboard. When you turn the heater on, a cable operates this flap and opens it to the heater matrix. As well as that, you've also got this lever here, which is for your hot and cold, which you'll see a little bit better as we strip this down. First of all, we need to drill all the little rivets out which hold this top plate on, and then we'll be able to see a lot more. So now that we've drilled all the rivets out, we can take this top plate off. We carefully ease it away, untuck it from the back. All of a sudden, we've got a much better view of the heater matrix. Now, as we saw outside, the heater matrix, all the foam from around the outside is completely disintegrated and it's just rattling around. So we can lift that out and we can now see the little vent door which gives you hot and cold. So when that's closed, you're on cold air. When it's open, you're on hot air. It's quite simple, but quite clever. So from the factory, all these flaps and doors would have had like a seal around the outside which controls the air, stops hot air from leaking out, which affects the efficiency of the heater. But over time, you know, this is 40 years old now, the foam just falls to bits. I've already vacuumed this out, but there was a lot of like dust and rubbish in the bottom. But next we're going to look at the fan. Fan is held into the back with nuts and studs. So once you've got them undone, you can just ease this bracket out of the way and then lift the motor out. This one, because it's been laid up for so long, is really, really stiff and really, really tight. So we're going to replace this with an upgraded unit from Bolt On Bits. Here we have it then, the new Big Power Fanny, as it's called, from Bolt On Bits. Not that different to look at. Bigger motor, flows a lot more air. Comes with this seal, which goes inside the heater box, which helps direct the air through the fan again. It's all about controlling the air. If the air can escape the veins of this, then it's not going to be pressurised and blown into the cab. So we need to stick that on the inside of the heater box. And it also comes with a foam seal for this surface. And it fits exactly the same as the old one. It even comes with a little patch cable because it uses different connections. Everything you need's in the box. So we're going to crack on with fitting this. We're then going to flush the old heater matrix, because actually, although it's a bit dirty, there's nothing wrong with it. And we will seal that up and put the box back together. And yeah, it should work a lot better than it did before. New uprated fan is in, which means it's time for the heater matrix. As we ascertained earlier, the heater matrix was just in here rattling around, which is no good because it means air can go around the outside. So what we need to do is pack the edges with foam, and I've got a little hint for you. So instead of buying the proper Land Rover foam, which will no doubt just fall apart again, what you can do is buy any closed cell foam. In this case, a camping mat from Halfords, which was £3 I think on special. So I'm going to cut some strips of this up, wedge them down the side of the heater matrix. We can then put it along the top before we put the lid on, and all that air will be channeled through the core, which means we don't lose any heat. Happy days. So I'm going to get cutting this up, and then we'll fit the heater matrix. Woo! Almost lost her. There you go. Nice and tight, look. So, cut this foam into strips, surrounded the heater matrix with it. We've cable tied a few bits to where the pipes come through the housing. One more bit to go over the top. And all we need to do is rivet the cap back on. And that will give us as much performance as a standard heater matrix can put out. Heater box is all riveted back together. It's got the new fan in it. We've isolated the matrix so it doesn't rattle about. And what I've done is fit the new seal, which goes between the box and the bulkhead, to the heater box with a little bit of spray glue. This has to compress quite a long way when we fit this. So it's better that it's held in position, otherwise it can slip and yeah. So let's take this outside and bolt it on. So the heater box is now back on the bulkhead with the new seal and the new fan. What's really important with these is that you set the 3 controls up properly. So the first control is your fan speed, which A, powers up the fan, and B, opens up that flap between the box and the bulkhead. So what you want to do is have someone inside the car switching it on and off while you attach the cable. So when your fan's on, you want the flap fully open, and when it's off, you want it fully closed. Exactly the same principle for the hot and cold flap as well. Have the control on the dash set to hot, make sure the flap is fully in the hot position, attach the cable with the clip and tighten up the screw. That way you've got full travel from hot to cold and everything should work properly. I'm absolutely blown away by the performance of this fan. This bolt-on bits big power fanny is absolutely amazing. I've never had a Land Rover with such a powerful fan. If you're going to do one upgrade to your heater system, just get one of these. What a thing. Even Steve's impressed, aren't you, Steve?
I am.
He is. Anyway, that's all buttoned up. Next, we're going to take care of some of the switch gear in the cab. So next up, because this Land Rover has been off the road for so long and there's bound to be connection problems in the electricals, we're going to replace the headlamp switch, the indicator switch and the hazard switch. That will give us a really good starting point for chasing out any other small problems that are bound to arise. But we've gone for Lucas parts, Lucas Classic parts from Britpart. These are to OE spec. So yeah, by renewing the stuff that we know is a common problem, we'll be, you know, way ahead when it comes to diagnosing any electrical issues. So quite a simple job. Take the steering wheel off, change the stalk. Hazard switch is just 2 screws, pop it out, unplug it. And then similar story for the light switch. So we'll crack on and get them changed. So overall, a good day's progress. Got the heater box rebuilt and wired up and running with the new fan. Got the new switches inside for all the lights. So I'm going to put the wing back on, plumb everything up, see what works. And then it will almost be time to book an MOT. Catch us on the next video to find out how we get on.